Miller and Lincoln Electric, the two biggest names in welding. Most welders assume those helmets are American-made. Import records tell a different story. South Korea, China, the branding stayed domestic. The production didn't. Only 3 helmet lines still carry a legitimate made in the USA origin. But what you actually give up to buy one of them is the part nobody's talking about. Miller Electric and Lincoln Electric both trade on their American roots, but the helmets that carry their names tell a different story. Miller's current auto-darkening models are shipped in by the container load from South Korea, with additional units coming from China. Import records from June 2026 list OTOS Wing. Company Limited, a Korean PPE manufacturer, as the supplier for Miller. Miller's own forum moderators confirm that helmets and accessories are sourced overseas, even as the core welding machines remain US assembled. None of this appears on Miller's product pages or catalogs. The marketing talks up features and graphics, but there's no mention of where the helmet is actually made. Lincoln Electric follows the same pattern. The Viking auto-darkening helmets, including the 350 series, are manufactured in China. Trade data for 2025 and 2026 backs this up, showing helmet shipments arriving from Chinese factories. Welders on forums and Reddit point out the Made in China labels on both auto-darkening and fixed-shade Lincoln helmets. The fixed-shade models are sometimes described as assembled in USA, but the lens itself is imported from China, and there's no unqualified domestic claim. Neither brand makes it easy to find country of origin details. The branding stays American, the production doesn't. For the working welder trying to buy domestic, the reality is buried in import codes and forum posts, not on the box or the website. Welding helmets didn't move offshore by accident. Over the last 2 decades, the same cost pressures that gutted much of American manufacturing swept through the personal protective equipment market. Helmets, gloves, and jackets, once stamped out in Midwestern factories, started arriving by container from Asia. The reason was simple: thin margins, tough competition, and a global supply chain that could deliver at a lower price. For manufacturers, moving production overseas wasn't just about chasing profit. It was about survival in a market where every dollar counted. The numbers tell the story. From the early 1990s through 2020, U.S. government data show a steady drop in domestic PPE production, with imports from China and South Korea filling the shelves. By 2026, most auto-darkening helmets sold under American brands are built entirely overseas. Even as tariffs and new buy American rules grab headlines, the bulk of inventory still comes from Asian factories. Distributors hedge against price hikes by stockpiling imports before tariff deadlines, while welders looking for a homegrown option find the choices shrinking each year. For the working welder, this isn't a debate about trade policy or slogans. It's about knowing what's under the hood, literally. Most buyers have no idea where their helmet was made, and the information gap leaves many surprised when they finally check the label. As interest in domestic products picks up, the search narrows to a handful of brands that still claim American assembly. The next question is whether any of those claims stand up to scrutiny. Jackson Safety's PL280 stands out as a rare find for welders who want a helmet with American roots and practical features. Retailers list the PL280 with an explicit Made in USA label, though the packaging and plant location aren't shown in public records. What you do get is a helmet built for work, not for display. The shell is made from super tough nylon, a tough, high-density polymer that shrugs off sparks and rough handling. Compared to fiberglass, nylon keeps the weight down. Most listings put the helmet at just over a pound, making it noticeably lighter than the old school fiberglass hoods that can wear on your neck over a long shift. The flip front design is a nod to pipeline and structural welders who need to work in tight spaces. Instead of taking the whole helmet off to check a bead or set up for the next pass, you can just lift the front with a gloved hand. That spring-loaded action is more than a convenience. It's a time saver when you're working overhead or squeezed between pipe runs. The PL280 is listed as meeting ANSI-Z 87.1 standards, which covers impact and optical protection for industrial welding. While the helmet's full domestic content can't be independently confirmed, the model's features and the clear labeling on retailer sites make it one of the few options left for buyers looking for a straightforward, US-built workhorse. Fibre-Metal's Pipeliner helmet carries a reputation that stretches back more than a century. The brand traces its roots to 1905, when Frederick Bowers started Fibre-Metal and introduced what's widely recognized as the first purpose-built welding helmet. That legacy still matters on job sites today, especially among pipe welders who rely on gear built to last. Now owned by Honeywell, Fibre-Metal continues to manufacture the Pipeliner series in the United States. Honeywell's 2026 press release confirms domestic production at its Ohio facility, tying the product to an American manufacturing base even as most competitors have moved offshore. The Pipeliner's shell is molded from Speedglas Plus, a proprietary fiberglass composite engineered for impact resistance and moisture-proof performance. This shell shrugs off sparks, resists cracking and chipping, and doesn't warp in high heat or humidity. Welders who work long hours in the field often choose the Pipeliner for its durability, lightweight, and the way it fits into tight spaces. Over decades, the helmet has built a following among pipeline and industrial welders who need equipment that won't fail in harsh conditions. While the market has shifted to plastics and imports, the Fibre-Metal Pipeliner stands as a rare example of a US-made helmet with both historical weight and practical reliability. 3M's Speedglas line rounds out the shortlist of welding helmets with a real American manufacturing presence. The company's Valley, Nebraska plant has been in operation for over 4 decades, and recent reports confirm an ongoing expansion for personal protective equipment, including welding helmets. But the story here is not as simple as a broad Made in USA stamp. Only select Speedglas models are assembled at the Valley facility, and even then, the parts list is global. Polycarbonate shells, electronic components, and auto-darkening filters are sourced from suppliers around the world. The Nebraska plant handles final assembly and post-sale service, which means certain helmets can claim assembled in USA. But not all Speedglas products qualify. There's no public model-by-model list, so buyers who care about domestic content have to do their own homework. The only way to confirm where a specific helmet comes from is to check directly with 3M before buying. For welders who want a helmet with some US labor in the mix, Speedglas offers a practical but limited option. The rest of the line, like most of the market, is built on a global supply chain. In the end, the Nebraska plant stands as proof that even the biggest names in PIE make origin claims that require close reading and a phone call, not just trust in the label. Every American-made welding helmet on the market today is a passive, fixed-shade design. That's the trade-off facing welders who want to buy domestic. The Jackson PL280 Fibre-Metal Pipeliner and the select 3M models with US assembly all use a single, unchanging lens, typically shade 10 polycarbonate or glass. None of these helmets offer auto-darkening features. The reason is simple. The technology behind auto-darkening filters, ADF sensors, and LCD panels comes almost entirely from Taiwan and China. No US factory builds these components at scale. If a helmet claims "Made in USA" and promises auto-darkening, it's either using imported modules or stretching the truth. For welders, that means choosing American-made means giving up the convenience of automatic shading. The only way to get both is to accept a helmet assembled from global parts, not one built entirely on US soil. A helmet stamped "Made in USA" has to meet a strict bar. The Federal Trade Commission requires that all, or almost all significant parts, processing, and labor are domestic before a company can use that label without qualifiers. If a helmet says "Assembled in USA," it means the final build happens here, but major components like lenses or shells may come from overseas. Some brands lean on American logos or slogans, but the legal claim is in the fine print. For welders who want to know what they're buying, it comes down to checking the model number, reading the actual label, and, if needed, contacting the manufacturer directly. Sourcing transparency is rare, and marketing can blur the lines, but a careful buyer can cut through the noise. Knowing the difference between made and assembled keeps the decision in the welder's hands, not the ad copywriters. American made still means something, but you have to read the label, not the logo. For welders, it's more than pride. It's about trust, safety, and keeping real jobs at home. Today, that choice gets harder. The question now, who decides what "Made in USA" really means?